Ever heard of someone going to jail even though they were innocent? Of course you have. But this isn't some Law and Order episode where the truth magically comes out in the last 5 minutes. This is real life. And in real life, bad things happen to good people. Especially if those people don't know their rights. We're talking about regular folks like you and me. People who get pulled over for a busted taillight and end up facing a DUI charge because they try to be helpful and honest. People who get tricked into consenting to searches they absolutely had the right to refuse. This video could literally protect your freedom, so buckle up because this is about to get real. Alright, let's address the elephant in the interrogation room. Or more accurately, the chatterbox who's about to become the elephant in the cell. You, my friend, with your charming need to fill the silence, to explain, to justify, you are your own worst enemy when dealing with the police. Here's the thing. You think you're being helpful, right? You think that by offering context, by telling your side of the story, you're clearing things up. You're not. You're digging a hole and you're using a backhoe to do it. Remember, anything you say can and will be used against you. And trust me, they're not looking for the most accurate interpretation of your words. They're looking for the most incriminating. That seemingly harmless comment about having 1 beer 3 hours ago, that's probable cause for a breathalyzer right there. That casual mention of arguing with your spouse? Congratulations, you're now a suspect in a domestic disturbance. Look, I get it. Staying silent feels unnatural. It feels rude even. We're conditioned to be polite, to be cooperative. But when it comes to interacting with law enforcement, silence is your superpower. Think of it like this. You wouldn't jump into a pool without checking if there's water in it first, right? Staying silent is you dipping your toe in the legal waters, assessing the situation before you cannonball into a sea of trouble. So, repeat after me, I choose to exercise my right to remain silent. It's not an admission of guilt, it's an affirmation of your rights. Let's talk about rights, shall we? Specifically the ones you unknowingly flush down the legal toilet the second you open your mouth to a police officer. You see, the Constitution, in all its dusty wisdom, grants us this magical thing called the Fifth Amendment. You might have heard of it. It's the one that says you don't have to incriminate yourself. You don't have to answer questions, you can just be. But here's the kicker. They don't just hand you a laminated card with your rights the moment you encounter law enforcement. They mumble it at you while you're disoriented, scared, or just trying to remember if you left the stove on. And in that moment of vulnerability, you do what most people do. You try to be helpful, you answer their questions. You think, hey, I'm a law-abiding citizen, I have nothing to hide. Newsflash. You're not obligated to have a casual chat with someone who has the power to put you behind bars. Every time you respond to a question without a lawyer present, you're essentially saying, sure, I waive my right to remain silent. Talking to the police without a lawyer is like playing a rigged carnival game. You might think you're winning by being cooperative, but in reality, you're just handing over the keys to your freedom. Remember, the legal system isn't a game of trust falls. You need a lawyer. Okay, time for a hard truth bomb. The justice system? Yeah, it's not exactly just. In a perfect world, honesty would be its own defense. But this isn't a John Lennon song. This is America, where the truth is often stranger and more readily ignored than fiction. You see, the system isn't designed to seek out the truth, it's designed to secure convictions, and to do that they use your words, your actions, your very demeanor against you. That's why blindly trusting the process is like trusting a hungry fox to guard the henhouse. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for the hens. Here's the thing, police officers are trained to extract information. They'll use friendly tactics, scare tactics, and everything in between to get you to talk. They might even tell you that if you just cooperate, they'll let you go. Don't fall for it. They're not your buddy, they're not your therapist, and they're definitely not looking out for your best interests. You're essentially offering them the evidence they need to put you away, even if you didn't do anything wrong. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Chapter 4. Real examples, real consequences. When honesty backfires. Alright, story time. Let's talk about Jamal. Good guy, hardworking, never been in trouble with the law. One night he's driving home from a friend's birthday party. A party where, yes, he had a beer. 1 beer hours ago. He's pulled over for a busted taillight. NBD, right? Wrong. The officer asks the dreaded question, have you been drinking tonight? Now Jamal, being the stand-up citizen he is, decides to be honest. He says, officer, I had 1 beer earlier, but I'm totally fine to drive. And just like that, Jamal's night takes a nosedive. That single admission, that attempt at being truthful, just gave the officer probable cause. Next thing you know, Jamal's getting a breathalyzer, then a DUI charge, and spending the night in a jail cell instead of his own bed. Let's move on to Karen. Karen's at a bar when some pushy dude spills his drink on her. Words are exchanged, things escalate, and the next thing she knows, the bouncer's asking what happened. Karen, flustered and angry, says, he bumped into me, so I pushed him back. Guess what gets written down? Not the entire context, just I pushed him. Karen ends up facing assault charges because she tried to explain herself in the heat of the moment. Chapter 5. The 4 sentences that can save you. Your go-to script for police encounters. Alright folks, it's time to arm you with the verbal equivalent of a bulletproof vest. These 4 sentences are your legal shield, your get-out-of-jail-free card, your verbal middle finger to injustice. Memorize them, tattoo them on your brain, write them on your hand, whatever it takes. Sentence number 1, am I free to go? This is your opening salvo, your way of establishing whether you're being detained or if you're free to leave. If they say yes, walk away. Don't linger, don't engage in chit-chat, just politely excuse yourself and get out of there. Sentence number 2, I do not consent to a search. Remember, the police need a warrant to search your property unless they have probable cause. And guess what? A hunch isn't probable cause. So if they ask to look in your bag, your car, or even your pockets, politely but firmly decline. Sentence number 3, this one's a classic for a reason. I want to remain silent. This is your constitutional right. Use it liberally. Don't try to explain yourself, don't try to justify yourself, just shut it down. And finally, sentence number 4, I want a lawyer. This is your trump card, the legal equivalent of calling in the Avengers. Once you utter these words, all questioning must stop. Chapter 6. Decoding the police playbook, what they really want when they talk to you. Let's play a little game, shall we? It's called What Do the Police Really Want? And no, the answer is not donuts. The answer, my friends, is information. Your information. You see, police officers are trained to be incredibly persuasive. They're like the charming, disarming friend who can convince you to do just about anything. They'll use friendly banter, they'll offer you a water, they might even crack a joke or two. But don't be fooled. Their goal is to get you to let your guard down, to lull you into a false sense of security, because that's when the real interrogation begins. They'll say things like, look, we're just trying to understand what happened here, or if you're innocent, you have nothing to worry about. And you know what? Those statements might even be true. But here's the thing, they're counting on you not knowing your rights, on you believing that you need to prove your innocence. Here's a little secret. You don't. Stay silent, assert your rights, and for the love of all that is holy, ask for a lawyer. Chapter 7. Busting the myths, common misconceptions that can land you in hot water. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the myths that are stomping all over your rights. These are the insidious little whispers of doubt that can sabotage your better judgment and leave you vulnerable in a police encounter. Myth number 1, if I stay silent, I'll look guilty. Let me stop you right there. Silence is not a confession. It's not an admission of anything. It's simply a way of protecting yourself from self-incrimination. You have the right to remain silent, and exercising that right doesn't make you look guilty. It makes you look smart. Myth number 2, I don't need a lawyer if I'm innocent. Oh honey, innocence is a wonderful thing, but it's not a magic shield that deflects legal trouble. The legal system is a complex and often unforgiving beast, and even if you're innocent, you need someone on your side who knows how to navigate its treacherous terrain. Myth number 3, the police can't lie to me. Oh, but they can. And they will. It's called permissible deception, and it's a legal tactic they use to elicit a confession. They can tell you they have evidence they don't have. They can say your friend ratted you out. They can even pretend to be your friend. Your job is to protect yourself, and sometimes that means refusing to answer questions without a lawyer present. Stay informed, stay empowered. Look, if this video just taught you something new, if it made you question what you thought you knew about your rights, imagine how many people out there are walking around completely unprepared. They're relying on outdated information, on Hollywood myths, on blind faith in a system that often doesn't have their best interests at heart. Share this video. Send it to your friends, your family, that one coworker who always seems to be on the verge of a legal mishap. Drop a comment below. What's the one thing you'll now do differently when dealing with the police? Because knowledge is power, and when it comes to protecting your freedom, a little knowledge can go a long way. Subscribe for more content that protects your power and freedom. Share it. Drop a comment. What's the one thing you'll now do differently when dealing with police? Subscribe for more content that protects your power and freedom.